Please like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and please press the bell icon so that you get to know when my latest video has come. And to learn more and to find a video relevant to you, please do check out my videos list.
Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. We talked about retrograde planets and their results in different houses. We also talked about different kinds of retrograde planets, and we have also talked about how the results of retrograde planets are different from those planets which are direct. Today I am going to talk about the aspects or the drishti of the retrograde planet, which means if a planet is placed in one house, then it has a special aspect when it is looking at another house. How does it give the results? Here is Ewok once more, come back to wish people to say hi and to shower a love. Very very lovely pet she is, very very lovely dog. She loves to hog all attention, but so every now and then she comes to say hi. So this is a hi period. She is near my legs, so please bear with us. So we have talked about retrograde planets results. So when we are talking about the drishti or the aspect of the retrograde planet, here we are talking about when the planet is looking at another house, another sign or another planet while it is placed in a certain house, through either it's the normal common aspect, which is the 7th aspect, or its special aspect. For example, Mars has 4th aspect and the 8th aspect as its special aspect. Saturn has 3rd and 10th aspect as its special aspect. Jupiter has its 5th and the 9th aspect as the special aspect, and so on. So when we talk about retrograde planets, here we are talking about those planets which are generally direct but go retrograde every now and then, and hence here Sun and Moon are left out because they never go retrograde, and Rahu and Ketu are left out because they are always retrograde. So retrograde or retrogression is not something that they do once in a while, but this is a way of life for Rahu and Ketu. So we don't take them as, or we don't take the retrogression into account. So that leaves us with the other 5 planets, which is Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn, which are the 5 planets which go retrograde every now and then. Now all of these planets have a special meaning to the aspects, and I have already done different videos, 5 videos on the special aspects of planets and what does it mean. So if you're concerned, if you want more details about Jupiter special aspects, Mars special aspects, Saturn special aspects, what its meanings are, I will give you the link in the comment section below. You may go and watch it. Now Mercury and Venus have a common 7th aspect, so they have only one aspect, so there is no special aspect, but the entire strength of the aspect goes into that one aspect, which is their 7th aspect. So today we are talking about when a planet is aspecting another house or another sign or another planet, what does it mean, especially when it is retrograde in your horoscope. Now why is the retrograde planets aspect so strong, a strong meaning? Firstly, retrograde planets are said to be thrice as strong as a planet which is direct. The reason being, the retrograde planet seems to be retrograde because it is closer to the earth, and hence because it is closer to the earth, so the relative motion of earth in question with the motion of the planet comes into practice here. And if the planet seems to be moving slower than the earth, it seems to be going in retrograde motion. So remember this, that the retrograde planet is closer to the earth and hence it is stronger because its rays falling on the earth are stronger, so its effect on the people on the earth are stronger, and hence the retrograde planet is said to be thrice as strong as a direct planet. And because it is a retrograde planet, we have also talked about how a retrograde planet's meaning is more deeper than a direct planet, which means the retrograde planet will also give some results of the last house, whichever house it is placed, or the house penultimate to that. And retrograde planet also is a signification of, or a significator of, some karmic baggage that you are carrying, a karmic debts that you are carrying. It's a payback you need to do. So what is the meaning of its aspect? If retrograde planet's placement in a certain house or in its retrograde motion has more meaning related to a karmic debt, a karmic baggage that you have left incomplete or incomplete and which you have to do. What does its aspect mean? Its aspect means that wherever the special aspect or even the common aspect of the planet is following, is falling, there is at least one thing, one area of life concerning that area, that house, and related to the planet, which is still left incomplete, where you still have to pay off the karmic debt. This is not a retrograde planet placed in a house where it has a deeper meaning, a stronger meaning, and sometimes the whole life you need to contend with the retrograde planet's results, because retrograde planet is like a planet being pulled in a catapult and then being left, with a lot of force. So it is like one step forward and two steps backwards. The aspect of a retrograde planet means that there is just one thing maybe, or very less baggage that you are carrying, but a very important baggage wherever its aspect is falling and related to the planet's manifestation. So if it's Mars whose aspect is falling, which means that there is something related to fight, or not being able to defend, or not being able to stand up for something related to that house. So if Mars aspect is on the retrograde, Mars aspect is on the 7th house, then it's about not being able to stand up for the relationship, not being able to stand up for the partner, not being able to stand up for the team member, which karmic debt you're still carrying forward. So you need to see which planet is aspecting the certain house and what is the manifestation of the house, and that is what the karmic debt or the baggage you need to pay off. It's not a lot, but it's an important one, because it can come back to haunt you again and again, giving you challenges all over your life till you pay that back. Now, retrograde planet may have 3 aspects. Does it mean that all the 3 aspects have some karmic debt? Yes, but because there are special aspects, the meaning of the aspect is different from one of the other. And hence, I am going to talk about what does the retrograde planets aspect on each of the 12 houses mean in the horoscope. And you can go back and check what the special aspects, meaning of the special aspects are, and then you can relate that video of the special aspects to the retrograde aspects, this particular video, and then you can know what is the area that you may be carrying a karmic debt, specifically related to the planet which is aspecting, and which area you need to still fulfill. Today we are going to keep it at a generic level and just talk about a retrograde planet's aspect on the 12 different houses. Here again, we are not talking about a retrograde planet placed in a house, but only aspecting the house either through its common aspect or through its special aspect. So the first house, if any retrograde planet's aspect is on the first house, which means that somewhere in your earlier innings there has been a karmic baggage or debt that you're carrying in terms of how you behaved, which means in terms of your status, in terms of your stature, or in trying to attain that status and trying to attain the stature, somewhere you have been very arrogant, very stringent, and very aggressive in your intent, in your actions, and you have pushed everything aside to attain that designation, to attain that status, to attain that stature, and maybe you have broken hearts. You may have ridden roughshod over somebody else, and may have really troubled somebody, and may have insulted somebody, may have even put somebody off, maybe even destroyed people, destroyed families in the wake of your arrogance and your hunger and your greed to get that designation and the stature. So here it means that in this life, at least whichever planet is aspecting, keeping that in mind, you will have to practice more humility. If Mars is aspecting the Lagna, while Mars is retrograde, whether it is from the 7th house, whether it is from the 6th house, you can watch that video about Mars special aspects and know what that each aspect means in a deeper meaning. But that aspect means that here in this life you need to be able to fight for people, whichever house the retrograde is aspecting from. So if it is aspecting from the 7th house, which means in your relationship you need to be more humble. In your relationship you will have to practice to allow that person's prestige, that person's honor, and defend that person's honor, stand up for their honor, and not make it a personality fight, not make an ego fight. So this life is more about humility. It's about standing up for others rather than standing up for your arrogance, your status, and your designation, your status in life, and through that again add to the karmic debt that you are already carrying. If the aspect is on the 2nd house here, somewhere in your community or in your family or in your tribe, your extended family, or even the family that you're born in, there may be a debt you're carrying. And here it means that you will have to, what you could have done is you could have maybe set your family aside left your family back in trying to be with somebody or trying to achieve your successes or whatever you were up to, and in that your family felt left behind, your family felt isolated, your family felt that you have abandoned them. So here it means that even in your principles and values, somewhere you may have shortchanged people, you may have been somebody who has not carried either your principles and values or behaved with that integrity. So which means in this life, if the retrograde planet is aspecting the second house, and whichever planet is aspecting, in the mannerism of the planet, in the mannerism and related to the characteristic of the second house, it's about living a more principled life, being more courteous in your language, being more supportive of your family, especially the family that you're born in, standing for them, standing up for them, defending them and taking care of them. If it is the third house that the retrograde planet is aspecting, then here it is about you. Sometimes maybe in your early innings, you may have not practiced your self-enterprise, you may have been too lazy, you may have completely depended on somebody else and they had to carry you forward, and you became maybe burden on them, a parasite on them, because you did not practice your effort, you did not practice your self-enterprise, you didn't work hard, you didn't stand up for your beliefs, you didn't stand up for your family. So which means in this life you will have to work harder in the dissemination of the house, in the relationship, whichever planet is aspecting the third house. So here in this life you will have to work harder, you will have to stand up and put in more effort, you will also have to work towards the relationship, and you will have to do more for them rather than you asking them to either be even in an equal relationship or you asking them to do more for you. So keep that in mind. And also here, in trying to build a brand for yourself, in your communication, try and be less aggressive, try and be less assertive, try and be more understanding and hear more than talk. Earlier in your life, maybe you have talked so much, you were not able to hear anybody, you were not able to understand, you didn't lend a helping ear to somebody who wanted to tell you what they are going through, you didn't make it a point or you didn't make an effort to understand people. So here in this life, hear more, put an effort for others more, rather than you trying to talk and you trying to get over somebody else, you trying to win over somebody else. But here your effort should be in the dissemination of that house and in the direction of the relationship and where the aspect is coming from. If it's about the fourth house where the aspect is, the retrograde planet's aspect is, here it means earlier in your earlier innings, maybe you did not stand up for your property, you did not stand up for your family, the family that you made, the family that you made of your own, the spouse that you brought home, the children that you had. If there are other dependents in your house, including your parents, or they were living together, earlier people used to have large families and they used to have a joint family. So here you may not have stood up either for your assets or your family or maybe for your spouse or for the happiness of the family or for the peace of the family. If the family was troubled by somebody, maybe a neighbor or maybe somebody else, you did not stand up for them, you did not fight for them, you did not stand up for the honor, you did not fight for their happiness, their peace of mind. Or you may even have abandoned your property and didn't take care of it. You may have abandoned the ancestral home of your family, of your parents, and you have allowed it to go to ruins. And so that baggage you have to pay. And so this life you will have to take care of your domestic areas, you will have to be more giving in your domestic life, you will have to stand up for the honor of the mother, you will have to stand up for the honor and the love and respect and the peace for your family, and you will have to take better care of your assets. If you don't take care of your assets, better care of your assets, then you will find that you will face more challenges and continue to face challenges going forward. And that is something very, very important. If you don't do anything about it and you don't pay attention, then you will not know what is the dissemination of that particular aspect. And generally the zodiac will tell you through some challenges will keep coming from that particular area, wherever the retrograde planet's aspect is. Every now and then you will get to know where the challenge is coming from, and it's easier to then find out that, oh, there is a retrograde planet's aspect on this particular house or this planet, and that's why I'm facing these challenges. So the zodiac will have a way to tell you, a way to inform you where the challenge is coming from. If it's the fifth house, then you need to stand up for your children, you need to stand up for your love and romance. Maybe you abandoned your love or romance or your romantic liaison in earlier life, or you cheated on somebody, or you were double dating somebody. Today it's easier to double date, but it's easier to be found out also because of social media, WhatsApp and Instagram, people can get to know your backstory easier. Earlier times it was tougher to double date somebody, but you could get away if you were, or if you indulged in that, because it was not easy for people to find your backstory. But if you have done that, if you cheated somebody in your romance, you have let somebody up, you have not been enough giving in a romantic relationship, you got more love and affection but you did not reciprocate, or for your children you didn't do much, or you're given a beautiful artistic talent, you're given a God-given talent but did not do any justice to that talent. But in this life you have been given that opportunity again, then do justice to the talent, do justice to the relationship, do justice to your children if you have been unfair. So wherever the challenge is coming from that house, you will get to know. The zodiac will tell you what specifically the area where you need to pay back on. If it's the 6th house, then maybe you didn't treat well the domestic servants, you didn't treat well the maid who came to help you, or the people who are a plumber or a carpenter, you may not have paid their dues, because of which they fell upon tough times, they fell upon tough issues in their life, and then you may have harmed them, maybe have been cruel to them, you may even have been aggressive to them. So if the retrograde planets aspect is on the 6th house, then it's about taking better care of those people who work under you, paying them more maybe than what is their due, so that they are happier, they bless you. Any animosity they may have or may have had is taken away from the relationship, or taken away from the equation. And if you are somebody who's regularly using the services of these people, where you're paying somebody and taking service, then treat them well, don't be harsh with them, treat them with kindness, and then you have a better chance of shedding that karmic baggage. If it's the 7th house, then it is about the relationship. Maybe you have screwed up in your relationship, you did not do well for them, you did not honor them, you did not respect them, and you may have ignored the grihasthan, you may have even ignored the relationship and the honor of the relationship. You may have been greedy and you took more in the relationship than given. In business, you may have cheated, or you may have taken more profits, you may have been very clever and you shortchange your partnership or your partner, or you didn't take care of the team members. So either in your relationship with your spouse or with your partner, or in your team members, or whoever you work with, or whoever you dealt with, there is some karmic baggage that you are carrying. The zodiac will tell you which specific area that it is, because from that area you will face more and more challenges, and that will be the zodiac's way of telling you where you need to pay the karmic debt and where you need to be better behaved. If it's the 8th house, then in your conjugal relationships maybe you didn't pay attention, because the 8th house is also the house of your sexual relationship. So in your sexual relationship, in your intimacy, you may not have been as giving as receiving, you may not have kept your partner satisfied, or you were not there, you were not around, or with your in-laws you may have disrespected your in-laws, or you may have usurped somebody else's money, you may have eyed somebody else's money, you must have taken up somebody else's wealth, and so the 8th house can become a challenge for you. So this is the problem also, because if it's the dusthanas where the retrograde planet is aspecting, then it can be more troubling for you. If it's the Kendra houses, then those areas will trouble you, but they will not be as strongly impacting you as the dusthanas can be. So the 8th house, the troubles can show you where the challenges are coming out from more, and so if you keep that area satisfied, if you are paying back, if you are taking care of it and forgiving, if somebody has been cruel to you, then the karmic baggage can also be lessened. If it's the 9th house, then surely there is a guru whom you may have not treated well, you may not have studied in spite of being given the opportunity, fees may have been paid for you, yet you did not take the opportunity, you may have mistreated books, you may have insulted books, you may have insulted religious books, you may even have been a religious priest or a spiritual guru, or you insulted spiritual guru, or you did something wrong or unethical in a spiritual house, or to your father or to your gurus, or maybe in a long distance travel, or to somebody from a foreign culture. So it is a payback time for you now. Whichever planet is aspecting in the dissemination of that house, from wherever it is aspecting, you need to pay back the karmic debt, which means you need to respect your gurus more, you need to take care of your father and the relationship, and use your learning well, use your knowledge very well, and do justice to the information and the knowledge that has been given to you. And use your education for the development of others, for the benefit of others more than for yourself, and that is the debt you need to pay off because of the retrograde planets aspect on the 9th house. If the retrograde planet is aspecting your 10th house, then in your karma, in your day-to-day work, in your career, in your responsibilities, somewhere you have shortchanged, you have not done work, you are being lazy. There is one area of your life definitely which has been a challenge for you in your previous innings, which you have left incomplete. And so in your day-to-day life, if you find at work, if there is one thing which is troubling you, your relationship with the supervisors is troubling you, or you are not able to get work done from your own team members, your projects are running into challenges, your projects are held up, you're not getting promotions, whichever area it is, if that is regularly troubling you, which means that area of life is where you need to pay out the karmic debt. If it's because of the relationship with your supervisors, then work on the relationship with your supervisors. If your project work gets held up because your work is incomplete, then pay more attention to getting your work complete, pay more attention, submit, work on it twice, thrice, double check it, triple check it, so that for its completion before you submit projects, because that is the debt you need to pay, that you need to be more ready. Earlier innings you were not ready, you left things incomplete, you must have presented your work incomplete. So this innings you will have to do it better, you will have to do it with more vigor, and you will have to stand up for the company, for the organization, which you may not have done earlier. You may not have been more responsible for the organization, you may not have been responsible for the department, whichever you are working for, whichever industry you are working for. So this innings, you will have to stand up for your team, you will have to stand up for the organization, you will have to stand up for your bosses, supervisors, be more committed to your work. And that is what your retrograde planets aspect is saying. If it's the 11th house, then in your running around on a day-to-day basis in your life, you did not pay attention to doing something for society, doing something for the social network, doing something for your friends, doing something for the extended family, extended surroundings or the environment. You may have been somebody who shortchanged the environment, shortchanged society, took them for a ride, purse up the money of people who may have given you money in their confidence. You may have shortchanged a friend, or you may have not taken care of the environment, or spoiled the environment, or destroyed the environment, or made unnecessary, or you milked the environment more and did not do anything back for them. So in general, this is a debt to the society, or to the environment, or to your friends, or the society, or the social circle at large. Here it is your karmic debt to pay them back, which means in your day-to-day life, keep that in mind, that there is something that you need to pay back in whatever activity that you need to do. So look at that cause, that one cause which appeals to you, which comes from within, from the bottom of your heart. That cause tells you that there is a karmic debt, especially if there is a retrograde planet's aspect on the 11th house, that you need to pay back, you need to take care of it. Sometimes it is also about forgiving. Maybe you need to forgive a friend, maybe you need to forgive society which didn't treat you well, and you're carrying that baggage, that poison all your life. So be more forgiving, be more forthcoming, take care of on social cause, take it forward, and through that be ready to shed the karmic baggage. If it's the 12th house, then maybe you have been somebody who's been very, very spendthrift and spent money, and you must have blown off your money in such a manner that you went into losses. And the greed of a better quality of life may also force you to spend even maybe on those things which are unethical. Maybe you went to those people or to people from the opposite gender for your sexual satisfaction, and you may have even traveled to another country because you felt there was something more. Out of your greed, you may have gone there, leaving your family behind, not doing or not taking care of your family. So it's about the 12th house on which the retrograde planet is aspecting. It means that you have been somebody who has mistreated the resources which were given to you, mistreated the trust that people put in you, and you may have even taken advantage of people from another culture, or you may have gone to a foreign country and there, maybe during wartime or whatever, you ravaged the land, you destroyed people, you may have mistreated people, you may have killed people, and so the 12th house has come back to haunt you. This could also be in a spiritual relationship. You have shortchanged. You may have taken money for a spiritual reason and not given back. You may have taken money for charity and then usurped that money, and so you are accountable for that. So in this life, take care of people, especially if you are in a dealing where you deal with foreign clients, you are in a foreign country, then be more dedicated, more committed to your work. If you are connected to people in a spiritual realm, be more giving. And if somebody is giving you money in their confidence, be very, very careful of it and hold back your purse strings. Don't overspend. Don't try to chase a very big quality of life and try to live it up all the time. It's good to live it up to a certain extent, but also know where to hold your horses. And lastly, be more charitable. Have a more giving hand rather than a taking hand, because you're not going to take resources from this world. You will go with empty hands. So it's better that those resources come to better use for the general society and for your spiritual elevation, because the 12th house is also that house. You may even be given a chance at moksha itself and you wasted that, and so the 12th house has come back to haunt you. So be more spiritual, be more giving, be more charitable, be more ethical, and also be somebody who holds the purse strings tight. If you have to spend for a good cause. Spend in the manner of or in the way of charity rather than just to live it up. So friends, these are the results or the effects of the aspects of retrograde planets on the 12 houses. It's not only about the karmic debt. Sometimes the karmic debt is just to forgive, or to just give a listening ear, or to be more understanding, or to be more caring, or to stand up for somebody, or to fight somebody. So whichever planet is aspecting, whichever house, whatever the disseminations are, understand that better, understand which retrograde planet is aspecting, look deeper into what the retrograde planets aspects means, and basis that take care of the dissemination of that house where the retrograde planets aspect is falling. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Until some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off.